welcome. You're watching the News Hour Agenda. I'm Padmaja Joshi. Today, the Prime Minister inaugurated 4 projects at the Somnath Temple complex in Gujarat. It's a temple he's had a long association with and one that has had a deep historical and civilizational significance for the country. Now, what is interesting is the message the Prime Minister chose to give from there. Talking about how divisive forces may grab power for a while, but their reign can never be permanent. Because ultimately, it is humanity and faith that holds sway.
जो तोड़ने वाली शक्तियां हैं, जो आतंक के बलबूते साम्राज्य खड़ा करने वाली सोच है, वो किसी कालखंड में कुछ समय के लिए भले हावी हो जाए, लेकिन उसका अस्तित्व कभी स्थायी नहीं होता। वो ज्यादा दिनों तक मानवता को दबाकर नहीं रख सकती। ये बात जितनी तब सही थी जब कुछ आतताई सोमनाथ को गिरा रहे थे, उतनी ही सही आज भी है जब विश्व ऐसी विचारधाराओं से आशंकित है।
It is significant that the Prime Minister gave this message at a time when India is witnessing first-hand examples of fundamentalism and its outcome in our very neighborhood, in Afghanistan and in Pakistan. But curiously, at the same time, while the world's focus is on Afghanistan and what a terrorist outfit is doing there, there are those in the country, in our country, who are not only oblivious to what the Taliban stands for, but also insist that India, in fact, is the one that is Talibanized. In fact, as of today, we are being convinced to believe that quote-unquote militant Hindutva and Brahminical patriarchy are the enemies of the state and of civilization as a whole. And these are the forces that today must be dismantled.
Look, India is ruled by Indian Talibans. RSS is an Indian version of Afghanistan Talibans. They both are, RSS and Taliban are the two sides of the same coin. So they had no right to criticize Taliban government.
पीलू खान की बेवा के बारे में बात क्यों नहीं होती? नहीं, वहां जुल्म, अरे यहाँ पे कौन करेगा फिर? महिलाओं का रेप होता खवातीन का भारत में, उसकी बात नहीं, वहां कहीं क्यों हो रहा, वहां पे हो रही? बड़ी मोहब्बत हो गई आपको।
यही बात को सही मायने में देखे तो कुछ विचारधारा हमारे देश में भी ऐसी है जो मानवता पे नहीं, जो एक किस्म का आतंक फैला के चलते हैं। मैं मानता हूं कि मोदी जी ने जो बात की है वो सब पे लागू होनी चाहिए, खुद से लेके हर देशवासी पे।
When we talk about another country, we should also introspect and see what we are doing in our own country. What is the policies of Mr. Narendra Modi? When they can give out hate speeches, and if Mr. Modi cannot control them, what is the point of trying and giving some, discourse on what's happening in some other country?
The question, though, is in a situation where we are seeing some people strangely profess support for an organization, an outfit as regressive and as fundamentalist and as medieval as the Taliban, and where efforts are constantly underway to try and paint India into a corner, to portray it as a supremacist medieval civilization of kinds, was the Prime Minister's message intended as much for those in our country as those in Afghanistan?
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
All right, joining us on the debate, Sanju Verma, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Ghanshyam Tiwari, National Spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, Atul Anjan, Senior Leader of the CPI, Advocate Vijay Dharni, Leader of the Congress. But my first question is to author Hindol Sen Gupta. Why do you think that the Prime Minister chose today and the backdrop of Somnath to talk about how tyranny is short-lived? What was the idea?
Because Prime Minister Modi understands, as Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel did, that Somnath is not only a temple. Somnath stands for something else. Somnath stands as an emblem, in a sense, of the renewal powers or the revival powers of Hindu civilization, even though it may have been at one point attacked, mutilated and broken by Islamist invaders. And Somnath has meaning. Somnath has potent meaning in that. Now, this invasion that happened long ago and broke Somnath down Well, India is in a crisis neighborhood even today. If you look at any serious geopolitical commentator, analyst, or historian today, Padmaja, everybody is very clear. Afghanistan and the fall of Afghanistan to a Taliban government has deep implications for India's security. And we would be foolish to ignore that. I don't think anyone serious can ignore that. There will be a revival of all kinds of elements in Afghanistan and in Pakistan, and the crisis in Kashmir will become worse. So this is impossible to ignore, and therefore the Prime Minister's comments should be taken in that context.
But would you agree then that this is an effort to communalize, because many are also calling it that, where you position, or rather you juxtapose Hindu civilization as opposed to Islamic fundamentalism as embodied by the Taliban?
No, this is not about, I don't understand. I mean, the fact of the matter is, this is where all of this becomes very complicated and rather hilarious. The point is, Somnath is indeed a Hindu temple. Indeed, it was Islamic invaders who came and broke down Somnath. Indeed, the Taliban speak and their ideological, idiom and verb, they believe that their idea of Islam, they have a supremacist version of Islam. Now, there is of course that juxtaposition. We can't escape from that juxtaposition. This is not to say that every Muslim believes what the Taliban believes, but that the Taliban believe that their version of Islam is the best version. There's no running away from that. That they believe the application of Sharia in everyday life in 2021 is the right way to go. There is no running away from that. Already we have seen videos coming out from Taliban fighters who very clearly say that, well, this is only the first victory in a sense of jihad, and we will continue jihad until the entire world gets converted from Darul Harab to Darul Islam. Now, this is again not to say that every single Muslim in the world believes that, but that the Taliban believes that. There is no running away from that. So this juxtaposition exists on the ground. I don't understand where the communalization would come from, because indeed this is the reality of the situation.
And far from understanding the reality, Mr. Atul Anjan, why are there people intent on saying, no, in fact, it is India which is the Talibanized country? Or as an MLA of the CPM said today, that the Taliban, the Hindu Taliban, is in power in India.
I think too much generalization is not needed. But at the same time, what I want to say, the Prime Minister, our Prime Minister, who is leading the country, who is having more than 300 MPs in the Parliament, he must also think that it is a federal state. He must also understand the spirit of the Constitution. He must understand all minorities in this country has to be protected, and everybody, each citizen of this country has a right to think. But if something is happening in Pakistan or Afghanistan, certainly we ponder about it and we think about it. What is happening in Afghanistan? No civilized person in the world can support that one. And just I want through this Times Now channel appeal the Organization of Islamic Countries, OIC, this OIC consisting of 56 countries, where they stand today, what they have to say, why they are keeping silent. They should say what is happening, and whether it is within the framework of the Islamic traditions or through this way, whatever concept they had, which they will never realize, it is a concept, the Ummat, and all these things has to be discussed in a very serious manner. But at the same time, I just wanted to say, Prime Minister, please don't you use every situation to communalize this country. You are making the speech from Somnath. Something happened 300 and 400 years. You are using that one just to communalize the situation, because in Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Punjab, there is an election. So you are using in a different way. These are not the way.
But didn't you have Hindol Sen Gupta just explain that it's a civilizational issue, and we are seeing the manifestation of that same kind of militant ideology being embodied by Afghanistan, by the Taliban rather, not by Afghanistan. Why would you see the Prime Minister's comment as communalization? Stating the obvious is not communal, is it?
You see, you can say, Padmaja,
yes,
you can specifically, Prime Minister, say this is not a good thing. This is not within the spirit of the human, you see, ideas. It is not within the boundaries of humanity. It is against the world human order. You can say it, but you are communalizing. It means Islam is doing Islam. There are differences.
Okay.
There are differences. You know, now United States of UAE, now there is a temple. Now the UAE, there is a temple.
It's a strange conflation.
20 years back, you can't think.
I do not think, sir, I do not think the history of Somnath has anything to do with Indian Muslims. The marauders and the invaders were not Indian Muslims, so why are you even applying that example to Indian Muslims? But anyhow, answer Sanju Verma. Communalization via generalization.
Our Prime Minister and RSS makes this stand all the time.
Of course, they say it about the Mughals, but they are not saying it about Indians. Indians are Indians, irrespective of their religion. But anyway, let Sanju Verma respond to that.
Is correct.
This was well thought out, Sanju Verma.
What you have said is correct, but what they are preaching, what RSS
can I please?
Sir, if you are asking what the BJP is doing, I think the BJP spokesperson can answer it. Yes, Sanju Verma.
Yes, thank you, Padmaja. Padmaja, I want to categorically state one thing, that this whole narrative about Hindutva terror and about the Talibanization of India and about RSS being akin to Taliban, I think this is a figment of an electorally vanquished opposition that has consistently faced defeat at the hustings, and now this is the narrative that they want to peddle. Point number one. Point number two, as Hindol Sengupta rightly said, Somnath temple is not merely an ancient monument or a temple. It stands for India's cultural roots. It stands for the spirit of economic prosperity that India had. It also stands for the fact that at any given point in time, no matter what, our faith is bigger than divisive forces. That is precisely what Prime Minister Modi said today. He invoked the Char Dham. He spoke about the concept of Shakti Pitha. He spoke about Ek Bharat, Shresth Bharat, and he spoke about Bharat Jodo Andolan, saying that we need to connect with our past so as to have a better future for posterity. And I fail to understand, amidst all this, how is it that hate-mongering by Atul Anjan finds place in this debate?
Mr. Anjan,
Why is it that you
it's not just by him though, there are several people who have expressed those apprehensions, to be fair. But let him answer for this.
20 seconds. Padmaja, can I just finish, please?
Okay, last 20 seconds.
Yes, I just want to quickly say one
She
thing.
will go on speaking.
When
This is not the way. You have given me time.
Can you
Should I
please
continue?
stop?
Okay, sir, please, let's not talk over each other. Let her finish, then you rebut, and then I'll bring in the others. Yes.
When Rajendra Prasad spoke of inaugurating the Somnath temple and eventually did it on the 11th of May, 1951, do you know what Jawaharlal Nehru told him? He said, I do not like this idea of you going and inaugurating a temple. It could have broader implications in destroying the secular fabric of a society. To which Dr. Rajendra Prasad said, I would have done much the same had I been asked to inaugurate a mosque or a church. So I think this whole pseudo-secularism bit dates back to the 1950s under Jawaharlal Nehru, and I'm not surprised that successive generations of the Nehru-Gandhi clan, including Rahul Gandhi,
Okay, let Atul Anjan respond.
70s, and
Pandit Nehru's fear was Hindu revivalism. That's what he told Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Yes.
Hindu revivalism.
Atul Anjan.
I just want to say, in India, only Somnath is not our identity. There is a Pava Sahib, there is a Mahavir temple, there is in Nalanda, Mahavir, there is a Lumbini and Buddha, where this everything is there. There are many places where is Ajmer Sharif.
But who's denying
where all
that?
Hindus, where 70% Hindus go
But
there.
who's denying
all
that?
This thing is our united this
Absolutely.
this
Who's
is our
denying that,
united.
sir?
But our Prime Minister, I just want to say, you are referring Rajendra Prasad. 3 years back, Prime Minister went to a World Sufi conference where he was speaking like a, person. I thought that after coming out from that conference, he is going to embrace Islam. This is all
But sir, you are the one who just said that he is Hindu supremacist, or you seem to imply that. Now you have a problem why he went to Sufi conference. Right now you were demanding that all
Sufi
the symbols of our
conference speech of
civilization
Narendra
should
Modi,
be
then you will
embraced,
come to know what sort of
which
game
is
he was
also
playing.
Sufism.
No.
Sufism is also a part of our civilization. So it's great if everything is being embraced, isn't it?
Himself from Jain to Hindu. This is all game. I understand. Is all game. I understand. I just want to say only one thing. Prime Minister as a Prime Minister, you see, I just want to. Why Prime Minister has not criticized the international famed journalist, photojournalist who was killed by the Taliban forces? He has not said even a single
Sir, what
word
does that have
because he
anything
was a
to do
Muslim.
with this?
This is not
What does
the way.
that?
He was
I
our
mean,
Indian
what-
citizen.
Okay.
No, he was an Indian citizen.
Of course he was.
You just convey anything. You criticize
What should
anybody.
be condemned is the Taliban killing him. But anyway, we are going completely off topic over here. We're going completely off topic.
This is the communal mindset of the Prime Minister.
What is the mindset?
Mindset of the Prime Minister. This has shown when the Danish was killed by the Taliban, you didn't speak a single word. You didn't speak a single word. That is the mindset of the Prime Minister.
Okay,
and
can I
so
bring
Prime
in-
Minister is also, if some people are, I don't say it, that he is leading the Hindu Talibanism, but he is indirectly supporting such type people, those who are lynching people on the basis of
All right.
religion.
So the
caste.
organization that has killed Danish is not the villain. The Prime Minister is, because he did not specifically refer to that incident and condemn that murder. Hindol Sengupta, and that is the argument that this is the latent Taliban mindset which is present in India, embodied by everyone, especially the right wing, the RSS, and according to Mr. Atul Anjan, the Prime Minister himself. This is the face of the Indian Taliban.
No, I mean, this is ridiculous. I was just looking at this tweet by Jay Panda, which really sums up for me this entire debate. It showed two people on a Goa beach having a drink and saying, the one person saying to the other, well, the Taliban are killing people because unless they wear a hijab, these are two women on a Goa beach. And the other person says, dude, Hindutva is the Taliban in India. I mean, the irony of the whole thing is quite hilarious. Please understand, the Taliban, considering what they did last time, they used to stone women on the street. They used to kill women rampantly. They stopped the education of all women. What are we even talking about? This is not to say that there isn't violence in India. There is violence in India. Violence is committed by all kinds of people in India under all kinds of garbs. Is there patriarchy in India? Yes, there is patriarchy in India. Is there violence in India? Yes, there is. But to compare that with what the Taliban did in Afghanistan is quite ridiculous. Please remember, if there had to be the Taliban in India, there would be no monuments left. Please remember, the Taliban in 2001 decided that there can be no idols and broke down the Bamiyan Buddha, destroyed all the treasures of the Kabul Museum and so on and so forth, and completely wiped out what they called were idols in that country. Is that what people in India are doing? No, of course not.
And why draw that false equivalence then, Ghanshyam Tiwari? Why draw that false equivalence where again we are talking about dismantling Brahminical patriarchy, militant Hindutva and some such?
Well, I think that the Prime Minister has taken his first step towards spiritual pilgrimage and thinking about spiritual awakening of India. He should take the next step, because for the Prime Minister, it looks like the issues with respect to unemployment, respect to economy are not important. But as far as Jawaharlal Nehru, it is very easy for the Prime Minister and BJP to invoke Jawaharlal Nehru. His letter on March 13, 1951 said to Rajendra Prasad ji, I am sorry for the delay in answering your letter on 10th March regarding your visit to Somnath Temple. I have conveyed my reaction. If you feel that it will be right for you to refuse the invitation, it will not be right for you to refuse the invitation. I would not like to press my point any further. The fake news industry that BJP believes in, the WhatsApp university, is going to find a demon in Nehru just because they can't answer the questions of today. The fact is that a government that was sworn in, saying that Achhe Din Aayenge, India will become a $5 trillion economy, is today benchmarking itself to Taliban. Every time you see a bad example anywhere play out in India, you will see spokespersons of Bharatiya Janata Party and leaders. Please don't shout. Please don't shout. Please don't shout. Please don't shout.
No.
This is not the Taliban issue. No, please don't shout. Yeah, you can speak when your time comes. Please don't fire the guns. There are no guns here.
To file a charge sheet against him.
Please allow me to complete. The point is,
comparing Talibanis with India's freedom fighters. Do you endorse what your party member Rahman said? Do you?
Okay, let him finish, please. Let him finish. Then you please come in.
Freedom fighters. What a shameful comparison by a party.
I think.
Okay, can you please finish? Please allow him to finish. Please silence. Yes, Ghanshyam Tiwari.
Well, the point is that a government that said "Achhe din aayenge" benchmarked itself to the developed world. Today is benchmarking itself. Its spokespersons are benchmarking themselves. Its intellectuals are benchmarking themselves with Taliban. If Taliban were to come here, this is their new benchmark. They could not transform India into a $5 trillion economy. They have stopped talking about employment. They have stopped talking about harmony. At least the Prime Minister went to a temple. He should have found the courage to speak the truth about Pegasus. I don't think any meaningful message is coming out of the Prime Minister.
I think, sir, since you have decided that you want to bring up Pegasus, irrespective of what we are talking about, it's very admirable that you have broached the subject. Nonetheless, we came to talk about Somnath and civilizational issues, but you bunked in at Pegasus also. That's very, very admirable. You have stuck to script. But go on. Respond. Sanju Verma.
Padmaja, Ghanshyam Tiwari has this habit. Discussion Pegasus pe ho, unemployment pe ho, Somnath pe ho, on any matter. He has to come to television channels and he has to start ranting Modi this, Modi that. Excuse me. First and foremost, let me tell you something. You keep talking about the economy. So let me tell you very clearly that today under the Modi government, we run the world's largest food security program where we are giving free ration to 81 crore people every single month. We run the world's largest health insurance program called Ayushman Bharat. More than 2 crore people have been treated for free under Ayushman Bharat. We run the world's largest financial inclusion program called the Jan Dhan Yojana. So stop lecturing the BJP Ghanshyam Tiwari. Your Akhilesh Yadav is involved in the laptop scam. He's involved in the pension.
Where are the jobs?
Okay, let's please. We've had multiple debates ad nauseum about Pegasus, but you still refuse to address the issue of Shafiur Rahman Barq, who continues to remain completely unapologetic about him hailing the Taliban, one. And second, today his son has backed him up and said that these are just organizations who are being victimized because of their religion. Ghanshyam Tiwari, don't you think at the very least the Samajwadi Party needs to at least issue a show cause notice to people like this?
This is definitely not the official stand of Samajwadi Party.
If it's not, sir, then he should be penalized.
It's not the
stand of
it's a horribly regressive stand to take.
Allow me to complete.
Okay, let him speak then. Do you condemn? Just a second. You are saying it's not your official stand. Do you condemn unequivocally the stand of Shafiur Rahman Barq, who continues to represent your party in the Lok Sabha?
A BJP MLA has just said that he wants people
Sir,
to...
why don't you restrict yourself to your party? You cannot speak on behalf of the BJP.
They are saying,
do you condemn what Mr. Barq has said? That what he has said does not agree with the principles of Samajwadi Party.
I have said that this is not the stand of Samajwadi Party.
No, this is not the stand, and that you disapprove of the stand is very different. Do you disapprove of the man?
Of India on I am not the spokesperson of Mr. Barq. I am spokesperson of Samajwadi Party.
And he continues to be a member of parliament of your party.
Yes, so
do you condemn what he said? To dissociate is fine. Do you condemn?
He will speak for himself. I am a spokesperson of Samajwadi Party.
Sir, at the very least, you can say that what he said is condemnable.
Just like Sanju Verma is not speaking about his MLA calling for
Sir, for somebody who sees militant Hindutva, regressive Hindutva, Taliban-like Hindutva, Brahminical patriarchy, at the very least you can say that what Mr. Barq lauds and eulogizes is condemnable.
Well, I will say what I represent as the political point of view of the party. And the political point of view of the party is that India has a foreign policy. We are attached to the foreign policy.
You're still not answering the question. This has got nothing to do with foreign policy. This is about your values not being aligned to what Mr. Barq said.
Mr. Barq will speak for himself. What I'm saying is the stand of
India. If he speaks for himself as an individual, then he should be discharged from your party. Because today, nobody cares about Mr. Barq except that he is an MP of the Samajwadi Party. What he says will be seen, he is platformed by your party.
When his platform by the parliament, people elected him. When you choose to make the rules for Samajwadi Party, we will look at it. But right now, you are not making the rules for Samajwadi Party, just like you're not making the rules for BJP.
Okay. That's great. So you're basically saying that everything that he says is condoned by the very virtue of him being elected to the Lok Sabha. Next time, please do not bring up the issue of Pragya Thakur, who, by the way, before you bring it up, most of her utterances are reprehensible as well. But please don't bring up the example of Pragya Thakur the next time, because you're saying he got elected, hence proven what he says is okay. Anyway, just a second. I think Ms. Vijay Dharani has also been
Should
waiting.
I speak something?
Yes, Mr. Anjan, before you speak, I think the lady has been waiting very patiently. Ms. Vijay
I just want
Dharani.
to speak about this work.
Just a second. Before you speak, Mr. Anjan, let Ms. Vijay Dharani come in. Yes,
Work
ma'am.
at this Shire.
Ms. Vijay Dharani.
Yeah. Padmaja here. Can I speak?
Yes, go on, ma'am.
Yeah. See, here is a case. The Prime Minister should have been much more precise when there is so much terrorism happening in Afghanistan. He should be more precise in his stand as to what India says. And he shouldn't have gone into the issues of all these communal references and other things. He could have been more precise as to what India thinks. As the Prime Minister of this country, he is more responsible. His talk is valued more than anything else insofar as the attack in Afghanistan by Taliban.
Could you point out the portions, ma'am, which you found communal? Because I've got his exact speech verbatim. Which were the parts that you thought were communal?
See, now it is very clear that he should have a more secular approach, because this whatever comments, it's more of Islam, the word Islam and all these things.
Ma'am, let me tell you that he literally did not use the word Islam anywhere in his speech.
Differences.
There is no mention of Islam in his speech at all. All he spoke of was Indian civilization.
No. See, insofar as the terror, he mentioned very particularly the terror kings and other things he referred. Of course, whether he is referring to Taliban or he is referring to anything else.
He actually hasn't said anything of the sort. Let me quote to you what he said. Just a second. Ma'am, let me quote to you what he said. Basically, he said, इस मंदिर को सैकड़ों सालों के इतिहास में कितनी बार तोड़ा गया, यहाँ की मूर्ति को खंडित किया गया, इसका अस्तित्व मिटाने की कोशिश की, लेकिन जितनी भी बार गिराया गया उतनी ही बार ये उठ खड़ा हुआ, which loosely translates into over centuries people have tried to demolish the Somnath temple. Incidentally, close to 17 attempts were made, but every time that attempt was made, the Somnath temple was put back on its feet. जो तोड़ने वाली शक्ति है, जो आतंक के बलबूते पर साम्राज्य खड़े करने वाली सोच है, वो किसी कालखंड में कुछ समय के लिए हावी हो जाए, लेकिन उसका अस्तित्व स्थायी नहीं होता, वो ज्यादा दिनों तक मानवता को दबाकर नहीं रख सकती. The forces that divide, that come into power by the use of terror, will only be fleeting, because ultimately humanity will win. There is no talk of Islam, Hindutva, Jainism, Sikhism or otherwise. Why would you call it communal when no community is mentioned?
See, he made indirect references. It's very clear about it. Otherwise, so many people, so many parties need not, go against his references. It's very important.
Ma'am, I think the reason why so many parties will go against what he said is for the precise reason that you found it communal without even knowing that there is no mention of community, communalism, or any religion whatsoever. Mr. Atul Anjan, you wanted to respond to Shafiur Rahman Bark.
Where he mentions what he mentions.
Sir, he mentions terror. And in the context of Somnath, it doesn't even have to do with any Indian. It is about a foreign invader. I don't see why you would want to conflate it with any community in India. I think you're doing a disservice to that very community. Anyhow, the exact kind of disservice that the likes of Mr. Shafiur Rahman Bark are doing. But anyway, go on, respond. Atul Anjan.
I just want to tell you, Padmaja was from 2000 8 prime ministers making such type of speeches from Somnath places as a chief of that Mandir committee and all that. He is expressing his idea. There is nothing to hide. Now, as far as work is concerned, I think there are a lot of people inside the Samajwadi Party. They are for the blood of Akhilesh Yadav. They are every day trying to diffuse this, every day trying to create some problem for him. And within the party inside, there are people, those who want to bring down his image and all that. Such forces are, you see, working. And Mr. Shafiqur Rahman Burke is known for such type of things. I don't know why time to time he has been given the ticket and he sometimes leaves, he sometimes contests independent and all that. Such type of people are not, you see, having a sound mind.
Ghanshyam Tiwari, all the more reason for the Samajwadi Party to formally oust Mr. Burke. Mr. Anjan has sensed a deep conspiracy by Mr. Burke against Akhilesh Yadav.
Well, Mr. Anjan is a seasoned leader and a senior leader. I respect his point of view, but that is his point of view. The party has made its stand very clear that our focus is the development of Uttar Pradesh. We are focused on the employment in Uttar Pradesh, the infrastructure that has to be brought, and the complete rampage of the state and disaster.
You are remarkably democratic, sir. Shafiqur Rahman Burke's views are his own. Mr. Anjan's views are his own. Your view, however, on everything is that India is being Talibanized and you will only talk about the Pegasus, irrespective of what the issue is. I'll give the final word to Hindol Sengupta. What do you make of the kind of equivalence that is being drawn, saying that India right now is in the grip of another brand of fundamentalism, which is of a saffron shade?
So first, may I ask Padmaja, because it has amused me a great deal. I don't do too many TV shows, so I'm delighted to have been invited here. There's a lady on your show who just gave her opinion, but she has not heard what the Prime Minister has said. I mean, I am quite astonished that she gave opinion without actually knowing what was said. This is really ridiculous. I mean, I don't know. This is the level of our public discourse. It has come to this inanity. And once again, I do not deny, let me reiterate, I do not deny that Indian society has violence, nor do I deny that in Indian society, violence is committed on many people, including on women, on using various pretexts. I don't deny. I mean, the numbers are there for us to see. But to compare that to the Taliban is ridiculous. The Taliban used to shoot women on the streets and flog them and behead them. They used to shoot little schoolgirls. They used to, trap women in the most oppressive manner and not let them step out of their house. I mean, literally, we are literally today sitting and talking in a TV show anchored by a woman and in which there are at least 2 other women speaking. I mean, how can we compare? This makes no sense. And clearly one panelist doesn't even know what we are discussing. This is ridiculous.
All I will say is welcome to my world, Hindol. Welcome to my world. On that note, I'm going to leave it at that. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. If you really think that India is Talibanized, you living here, what is your lived reality? Compare it to what you see every day coming out of Afghanistan. Thank you very much. All gentlemen, Sanju Verma and Ms. Vijayadharani for having joined me.